what Alex Jones calls mass suicide, murder, death pills, or whatever. It just seems like these memes and these trigger phrases are out there. And I just got word, someone had sent me an email saying that a whistleblower by the name of Robert Connors, who was a 20-year employee of the Department of Defense, said that he worked the second stage of MKUltra, known as Operation Sedgwick, which was intended to, in his opinion, control the African-American population, urban youth, through music. And he actually has posted his confession, also stating that he has a telephone recording of Michael Jackson speaking to him and several other people about a government
help. Unfortunately, there just hasn't been. I know there are some groups forming now
to actually mind control African-American people.
I have no problem at all believing that. I write about that in my book, personal experience with being programmed with very particular songs for very particular operations, as well as program reinforcement. There are numbers, and I could probably list thousands of songs that have reinforcement for programming that was already placed inside of me. I'm certain that the music industry is an arm of mind control.
I've heard also that it's not just popular rock and roll, but they also use children's songs to program as well. Is that true?
Absolutely. Mine ranges from Perry Como, Led Zeppelin, Nancy Sinatra. It's a wide range.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's go to some more phone calls now. We have Leslie calling in from California, KOGO 600 AM. Hi, Leslie. You're on Ground Zero with Elisa E. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Clyde, and hi, Elisa. Clyde, I appreciate you taking my call, and I'm going to try and make this as fast as possible. I'm a gang-stalking target, and I've been a target for 12 years. I'm learning disabled, and I'm all over the internet. My blogs and YouTube videos are titled Learning Disabled Women Being Tortured in San Diego. And the reason why I decided to call tonight was because of the information concerning what I know and who I come from in reference to the military that is infested in my family and what they were involved in. And so I'll just try and spit it out as fast as possible. My father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. There's high-ranking NASA in my family, high-ranking Air Force retired, and my ex-husband was a submarine radar antenna electrician. Now, there's the microwave hearing that this individual, I forgot his name, Aaron
Alexis, yeah, he was the shooter in the Washington, D.C. Naval Yard shooting.
Okay, right. Now, the microwaves that are being transmitted against organized stalking, gang-stalking targets, it's called the microwave hearing effect. And basically, it's like the computer-to-brain feedback loop where targeted individuals are subjected to nonstop, repetitive words, phrases, commands, statements, demeaning statements, things along those lines. Now, there's also machines that can keep targeted individuals awake or actually cause them to fall asleep and stay asleep as well. Now, there's a manifesto on the internet written by a manager of GangStalking titled A GangStalking Tech, Everything You Need to Know. MKUltra is listed throughout the entire manifesto. Psychic Driving is as well by Irvin Cameron, which is basically for MKUltra programming, and mentioned quite a few times in the manifesto. It talks about basically, and then targets of gang-stalking are also subject to non-stop repetitive harassment, which is identically the same everywhere they go along all the routes physically by the physical people that are brought on board in the harassment campaign.
So Leslie, have you been targeted? You know this firsthand? Is that why you're telling us about this tonight?
Yeah. I've been a target for 12 years. They've literally made me homeless. And I wanted to say something, if you don't mind me saying so. That Marine that just called up, he's a target. I can tell just by what he was saying. You know, they made me homeless. I've been gang-stalked to 5, 6 separate apartments, motel rooms, okay? Just like what Alicia was saying as well. They also have some technology called ELF wave transmissions, okay, which can cause a targeted individual to hear long, sustained tones in their ears and repetitive statements, words, phrases, and you would not believe the evidence I got, and I'm being targeted like you would not believe in San Diego. So the reason why I called is because information about gang stalking and organized stalking is all over the internet. The neurocognitive weapons that targeted individuals experience are all over the internet. And I personally believe from what this individual is saying that it definitely sounds like he was being gang stalked. They have equipment that can cause directed energy weapons. Okay, that can cause your body to feel like it's being electrically shocked. You would not believe what we go through, Clyde. It's just...
Well, I've had a number of guests on to talk about this before, and a lot of people reduce it to just pure psychosis. Elisa, I mean, how do we... I want to ask Elisa, how is it that we can hear about this, and yet people are so apt to believe that it can't happen, even though we have the technology, and they're immediately writing you off as people who have psychotic breaks?
Well, as one person said, if I were literally, this is what a person responded with when some conspiracies were brought their way. If I were to believe my government could do that, I couldn't live. What's happening, and let me just say thank you for calling in, Leslie, because the way I see it is what was done to me, I'm a microcosm of the macrocosm. There was an intensified effort on me, but what's being done now and has been being done for some time is mass populist targeting on MKUltra. They've got the technology now that, like I said, they don't have to start you out when you're a kid. They'll do that with a few, but they're going for the masses. And what she's talking about is real. It's so pervasive, it's absolutely stunning. And they're being experimented on, but the numbers are growing. This is coming to everyone, soon coming to a theater near you, to your home. This is the real deal. They are going into society, and they want to brain map and control everyone.
Well, I know that one of the things that were talked about, both at the Bohemian Grove and the Bilderberg meeting, was full-spectrum control of both humans, animals, and plant life.
Everything.
This is one way to do it. Also, they're discussing the chips that are being being recommended for Obamacare and the surveillance state. So these are things that maybe we'd be used to. The idea that we'd be on full control, whether it be controlled to be under surveillance or controlled to move about and do what we're told rather than rebelling or at least revolting. And this is the thing that really is interesting, especially now when we've talked before on this program about how Barack Obama has now set aside money to fingerprint the brain. They're going in now and they're trying to figure out what makes the brain tick. And what better way to do that than to add stimulus to the brain and see how people like Leslie and Elisa and others can react to that kind of stimulus without even knowing that they're being stimulated.
And I would take that to even a little farther. What Obama's talking about has long been done in the Black Project. It's already here. If he's breaking the news, it's 50 years down the road. And that's the way it works in the high-level Black projects. And those projects are being brought now to the mass populace.
Fantastic. Leslie, do you have anything more to add before we go to the break?
Oh, yeah, just one more fast thing, if you don't mind. I feel so bad that they're doing this, of course, to everybody, and then the future targets, but the veterans are doing this too, just burns my butt. Holographic projections, mind uploading, mind hacking, it's happening right now. You would not believe what they're doing to me. You just would not believe it. They literally set up some individuals to hike out 200 feet away from me who are constantly yelling, gang stalking, gang stalk, gang stalker, gang stalking. Oh my God, we're crazy. They repeat words and phrases along all my routes. You would not believe the evidence I got. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And I just, thank you, Alicia, for coming on the show. And thank you, Clyde, for, covering this tonight. And if any targeted individuals are out there listening, I just want you to know I love you, and please just stay safe.
Leslie, I thank you for the call. I thank you. Thank you for the call. Elisa, it's amazing that you came on the show tonight and gave us the information. Once again, the book is Our Life Beyond MKUltra. Hopefully we can have you on again to talk about this topic when it actually rears its ugly head again.
Yes, unfortunately it will, won't it?
Yes, it will. This is the second time we've had you on, and believe me, this is some fascinating stuff. Elisa, thanks so much for being on the program tonight.
Thank you, Clyde.
Have a good night. Take care.
You too.
888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. What do you think? Do you think that this is actually happening? Or do you just write it off as psychosis, psychotic break, or what have you? The programming is being used. They are now claiming that it's a mass programming. Are we a part of the programming? Is this one of the reasons why we're off and then we're on? We accept certain types of evil, that perhaps we're being coerced into doing things we wouldn't normally do? 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. Back with more Ground Zero. Don't go away.
All right, now that was me on Ground Zero 2 nights ago, September 17, 2013, but I want you to listen to Clyde Lewis talk about GangStalking.
Not anger with, or dismay or unhappy.
The internet is competing with the strangeness of this case. I guess in the middle you can figure out what's going on here with Aaron Alexis, but in the meantime, it is a confusing mishmash of mass murder suicide pills, voices in one's head, gang stalking, UFOs, and a cult that died back in 1997. I know it sounds all conspiracy. Well, when I first reported this incident, I said there was a conspiracy. And why was that? Well, there was more than one gunman.
All right, now,
when you're hearing stories like this, because cynical believers in a staged false flag is something that has been happening. I don't know when it began, but it just seems to me that everything that comes down anymore, you'll go to every fringe blog out there. I go to all of them, anything from Godlike Productions to, Above Top Secret. I used to go to a website called Surfing the Apocalypse. It was the Rumor Mill News I go to occasionally to see if there's anything in the rumor mill. And wherever you go, whenever something goes down, whether it be an attack or a shooting or something, you always hear, is this a false flag? And no more do we just let it go. We can't. Not anymore, because we know that the media is not going to give us the information we're looking for. But now the information that we want, the weird information about this case, about Aaron Alexis, is being kept under wraps. The awkward information about whether or not he did drugs, or whether or not he was crazy, or whether or not he had mental illness. It's all speculative on the media's part. They don't want to go out on a limb here. They don't want to stick their necks out for fear that they're going to look bad, that their credibility is going to be slashed. Well, you know what? I don't care about credibility today because the weird stuff is coming out on this program. I mean, the Sandy Hook shootings, people were wondering if the entire shooting was a staged event. I remember I talked about that just a little bit. I don't know if I believe it was a staged event. I know there were probably crisis actors that were there. Who knows? But I know that the confusion with everybody out there is understandable. I know there's cynical believers out there that think there was staged. There's a false flag. And just the whole media went crazy. And it caused them to attack conspiracy theorists for that reason. And this is why Alex Jones was called on to appear on Piers Morgan's talk show on CNN to talk about gun control, and ran to the point of turning purple about tyranny that awaits us if guns were confiscated or removed. Now, Alex blew up at Piers and accused the media of not investigating the taking of mass murder suicide pills. And he said that the killers that have been caught are taking these mass murder suicide pills. Soon the term mass murder suicide pills became one of the top trending terms on Google. Mass murder suicide pills. The truth is, there seems to be an argument between the media sources as to whether or not Aaron Alexis had a mental disorder. And most certainly whether or not he was taking what Alex Jones calls mass murder suicide pills. I know the Associated Press reported that Alexis suffered from paranoia and was hearing voices in his head. CBS News was reporting that since August, Alexis had been treated by the Veterans Administration for unspecified mental problems, which has prompted independent journalists like Ben Swan, who's been on this program, and Alex Jones, to ask just how Aaron Alexis, how is he being treated for these, quote, disorders, and was he along with the 12 that died that day, victims of Big Pharma and their pimping of mass murder suicide pills? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is stranger than fiction. And tonight we're going to go into that strangeness. And we're going to show you how the media is giving you different answers and different things, and how the internet is competing with the strangeness of this case. But I guess in the middle you can figure out what's going on here with Aaron Alexis. But in the meantime, it is a confusing mishmash of mass murder suicide pills, voices in one's head, gang stalking, UFOs, and a cult that died back in 1997. I know it sounds all convoluted and strange, but this is the awkward moment, ladies and gentlemen, the awkward information that we're going to open up and give to you tonight. Like it or not, it's going to be one strange ride. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700.
Hey, that was me on this broadcast.
Keep it right here on Ground Zero.